Welcome back, guys. Well, a lot of you have seen me use the One Tigris Rock Fortress tent before, and I'll be using some of that footage in this video, but I wanted to bring it out today just to show you kind of the ins and outs of it so you got a better idea. So this is the bag the tent comes in. Measures about 58 centimeters by 20 centimeters, depending on how well you've packed it. That's about 27.8 inches by 7.8 inches. Weight is 4.2 kilograms, which is 9.2 pounds. So inside the bag you've got instructions on erecting the tent, a stove jack, your pole, the fly, which is the tent basically because there is no inner with this, and a bag with both your pegs and lines in. Being a teepee style tent, you have one main pole and they just slot together one at a time with a push button release. Here's your pegs. They're a pretty standard three-sided design and there's 24 of them, and you've got 10 lines as well. First time you set it up you'll have to put them on the tent itself. Mine are already on. To start, we're just going to find the two sides with doors and peg those. Then you can go round and you can tension up any of the peg out points that need it. Finally, you can peg out your lines. That's going to pull the walls out and give you more room inside, plus make it more stable. And then you can just tension them up as needed. So for a standard simple setup, that's done. Doesn't take long at all. You do have a hook on the very top of the teepee, and that'll allow you to hang it from a branch, a tripod, maybe even a ridge line, if you wanted to do that and leave the pole at home. You also have the option of using this as a hot tent, so let's put in the stove jack. Now on the Rock Fortress, the stove jack point is more in the centre of the tent, which is quite handy, but we'll go into that. Obviously from the outside that's quite hard to reach, but as it's right by one of the doors, we can get to it quite easily. You have a toggle on both sides of each door, so you can have quite a wide opening. As well as opening from the bottom, the doors also open from the top. This can be handy for venting, peeking out when you're inside, stuff like that. I do like a zip that opens both ways like that. There are these vents above both doors which velcro down, but also have a tab to pull open like that with a mesh inside to stop any insects. And that is your full setup with this tent. All you'd have to do now is put your stove in, which would sit near the pole in the middle, opening up all the space around the tent. Now you've probably noticed there's snow skirts on this, which is quite handy, and the fly itself is 70D coated nylon with a 3000mm waterproof rating as well. Now the inside space of this tent, there is bags of room. They say it's 4 to 6 people, which would be a cosy configuration. Myself, I think it's 2 people, cot beds, stove in the middle, maybe a chair each or a table, something like that. You still have room to manoeuvre and stuff, plenty of space. It's 12.4 feet or 3.8 meters the footprint, and 7.8 feet, 2.4 meters height in the middle there. Now this is me sat in a chair quite off to one of the edges of the tent. Just so much room in here, I love it. When I used it, I had a cot bed, the one Tigris one, to the side. I had a table next to it, I had my chair in here, and my pack, and obviously my stove towards the middle of the tent as well. With the stove in the middle, if there is two of you, you've both got the option of kind of just leaning over and adding wood to it as well. I do quite like having the stove in the middle like that. I think it's pretty much my only tent that has that. All the others are off near the side, near the edge of the tent. But with this being such a thin material, it's probably a good thing as well. The top area where the pole inserts is reinforced, so that's pretty good as well. It's going to mean it's a lot more rugged, going to last longer. The zips themselves are non-snagging zips. I've had no issues with them whatsoever. To be honest, I've only used this, what have I done, a 3-nighter in it. I've not used it since, not because of a lack of wanting to, just because I've had other tents to use and other sorts of camps to do. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting out in this one again. I guess the tent occupies a bit of a strange space in the kind of tent market. Most bigger tents are kind of big, heavy canvas ones, or things like my Russian bear market tent. They're big, they're expensive, they're heavy. This one is quite lightweight, but it has that large size. Now, the negatives to that, I guess, of the thin material is if you're hot tenting, that heat's going to dissipate pretty quickly once your stove goes out. So you're going to need to have your comfy sleeping bag as well, but most people don't run a stove overnight anyway. I guess if there's 2 or more of you hiking, you could take it in that way. One person takes that, other people take their sleeping stuff. You could, you know, jig stuff around like that, because it's not too heavy at all, really. You know, it's you could leave the pole at home as well and just cut yourself a branch to use. There's a lot of different options. It's an interesting space in the market for it. Or if it's just you, obviously lots of space for you. So I'm not really sure what else to talk about with this tent. It's simple and effective. It works for what it is. It's well thought out with your vents, your doors, your options there, your snow skirt, the stove point. That's all well thought out. It's quick to put up. Comes with everything you need and spare pegs. It's waterproof. I've had it in pretty heavy rain. I had no issues whatsoever. And all the stitching points seem good as well. The zips are good. It's good for the money, I'd say. Very good tent. So if you're looking for a hot tent for using with a couple of people, or you know, you want a lot of room yourself, you're not too worried about that little bit of extra weight and size, check it out. I'll put the links below. Not affiliated at all. I did get the tent free to review, but not affiliated or commission or anything, so the thoughts of that of my own. Yeah, for what it is, it's a good tent. If you're looking for something heavier weight that's really going to hold that heat in, this isn't the one for you. But if you want something a bit lighter, a bit easier to get around with, you know, it's great. Plenty of room. I've really enjoyed using it. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any extra questions about the tent, leave them below, and I'll see you all soon.